Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.
Is you.
Hello. Welcome everybody to Daily with Doc and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes, and I am excited to be able to take my life journey and experience and what I found to be solutions to share with the world. Folks, whenever you are so sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you are way too young to feel so old, you're not chemical deficient, you're nutrient deficient. And it is my honor and privilege to be able to share about those nutrient deficiencies and solutions. So today, if you were invited by somebody specific, make sure that you get back with them, as we are a resource for an amazing community of individuals who just want to help see their families, their communities, find a healthier life journey. So folks, you don't have to be stuck and sick. And what you're going to be hearing on our program and all of our programming are tools to put in your toolbox to help you find that better health journey. My name is Becca Dukes, as a certified practitioner, naturopathic practitioner, and certified holistic health coach, and the director of services for the Institute of Holistic Health. I am just honored to be able to produce and be the host of this Daily with Doc and Becca show. If you'd like more information or want to get signed up for our newsletter so that you don't miss any of the content that we are providing, which we've got an amazing newsletter on in the makings right now, go to dailywithdoc.com, sign up for our mailing list, and you will be added to a flood but we're not going to spam you. And we do not share your information with anybody. Just want to make that clear. But you're going to be receiving a lot of information to help you as an individual find that better health journey. Now, we're also this resource for this amazing community. And we want to make sure that that community has the opportunity to share information that they themselves may not know everything about. And that's okay, folks. Because there will be times where somebody will have questions, and it's okay to say, you know what, I don't know the answer to that, but let me find it for you. And that's where this program comes in, so that you can find answers from the experts on different health topics. And today, I'm super excited as we're going to be talking about the amazing lineup of essential fatty acids that the company we have grown to trust and love, Youngevity, has for you. Now, to help me do this, I have Richard Renton, who is a highly respected product formulator, nutritional researcher associated with Youngevity. He is a health and wellness, Youngevity is a health and wellness company that was founded by Dr. Joel Wallach and his family and Richard. He has played a role in the formulation and development of many of the Youngevity's flagship products, especially those rooted in mineral-based and botanical nutrition. He is not only a master formulator, he has collaborated very closely with Dr. Wallach on many of the products. He's also an educator, a speaker, and a legacy in natural health with his decades of research and helping individuals, and even on the collegiate level, through nutrition. So Richard Renton, Dr. Jert, thank you so much for joining us again today, and welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca.
Thank you. It's so fun to be on with you guys. It's good questions. And if you've listened to me before on this show, you know that Becca's right. We all don't know everything. And so I'm the first one to admit that. But, you know, if you ask me a question and I don't know, I'll know it by the next time I'm on your show. And so that's what makes your show so great.
Well, one thing that I just really appreciate about you, Richard, is you take those notes and you do bring those answers to our audience, which we're reaching around the world. And, you know, we want to make sure that people are getting those answers. So if you're one of our listeners, whether you're watching us on social media or like YouTube, those type of platforms, make sure that you're sharing this information with those that you know and love. Subscribe to our channels so that you don't miss one of our episodes. Now, Richard, we have had you on talking about different formulas. We've had you on talking specifically about the plant-derived minerals, why they're better than any others, which they are. Let's talk today about the EFAs, or essential fatty acids.
Oh, one of my favorite subjects. You know, so we're going to go over all the different products that we have and the formulations and whatnot. But there's some key things that I always like to talk about right off the bat. First of all, we believe that all the essential fatty acids should always be encapsulated in a soft gel so that we prevent oxygen from attacking the oil and breaking it down, or oxidizing it is the way to phrase it. When you can get these oils, whether it's fish oil or boiled oil or cod liver oil or flaxseed oil, and you get it in a bottle, the second you open the top, even though you put it in the refrigerator, oxidation starts. Now, if you allow it to get hot, it even goes faster. If you keep it cold, it's a slower process. The other thing I always notice when they get it in bottles, and it's not to put them down, it's they're trying to be economical, is they buy the 1 gallon bottle from Costco. Well, it takes you a while to get through that 1 gallon. Let's say you're one of those firm believers of drinking an ounce of olive oil every day. Well, a gallon is 64 ounces. So it's going to take you 2 months to get through that bottle. And is it oxidized at the end? Are you getting the bang of the buck for the buck at the end? Or is it smarter maybe to get it in a soft gel? The other thing I'm going to say in general about soft gels is that we use a bovine soft gel, not a porcine and not a vegetable. We use bovine because of the people that are sensitive about porcine or don't believe in eating pork items. But the vegetable soft gel doesn't block air as effectively as the bovine one. And we want the best seal possible. And so that's why, as a company, you'll see all our products in soft gels. Now, some people ask, why do we have gold ones and why do we have brown ones and so on and so forth? And the simple answer to that question is we do it for you so that you could tell the difference if you're like me and you pull all your EFAs and dump them in a jar and put them on your desk and you dump them out and you're trying to figure out which one you eat. Well, we try to make them a little bit different so that you can tell what's going on. So I'm going to do a lot of share screening today because I want you guys to see some of this stuff that I have. And so I'm going to always say, can you see this? And hopefully I'll say it right now. Can you see this? And I'll see people nod their heads. So
Yes.
there is an international alliance that's out there that tests fish oils, and they test them for purity. They test them for pesticides and herbicides. They also test them for radiation, and they also test them for heavy metals. And it's IFOS, or the International Fish, oh my word, where is it? International Fish Oil Standards Association. They're based out of Europe. And we use them on all the oils but one, and we'll talk about that. It's an annual fee that we pay, and they have the right to request a bottle and test it at any time. So even our oil products that are blended, they can test and do that. And the highest purity level, the 5-star levels, if we wish, we can put their logo on the bottle, but it's a way that you as a consumer, if you ask the manufacturer, is it IFOS certified, you can get that answer for you. So here we go with the various products. I will also mention that on our blends, such as EFA Plus that I have right now, it is a blend of fish oil, borage oil, and flaxseed oil at an approximate ratio of 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. This was the first product that I worked on with Dr. Wallach to come out with one that fits the needs. Now, this product is perfect for someone that eats a typical Mediterranean type diet, that eats a good amount of vegetables and doesn't eat a lot of corn, because corn is heavy in omega-6. Now, if you're not experienced in your various omegas, omega-3, 6, and 9 are the three major families. When you look at the molecule structure, they're basically the same. The 3, the 6, and the 9 describe from left to right where the double bond is in the carbon chain. Now, probably more information that you want to know, but if you could just picture this long carbon chain, so lots of hexagons in a row, and you count over 3, if the double bond's between 3 and 4, it's omega-3. If it's between 6 and 7, it's omega-6, and it's between 9 and 10, it's omega-9. We do know that if you eat a perfect diet, and if your body is functioning the way it's supposed to, your body will make 9 because it will have excess of 3 and 6, and it will actually change it and make it omega-9. So that's why when Dr. Wallach talks about 2 members of essential fatty acids and not 3 members, it's because if everything works right, you should make your own 9. But we don't guarantee that. And so our one here that we have has all forms omega-3, 6, and 9 in them. It has a nice profile of each one. It's a little bit heavier in 3. We used to put borage oil, or we still do put borage oil in it, but about 5 years ago, borage oil tripled in price. And I can't tell you why. Probably something to do with the pandemic. And so we put a little more 3 in and took a little more 9 or borage oil out to reduce the amount of costs that we occur on the product. Probably EFA Plus is probably my absolute favorite because it's a full spectrum. There again, it has that OS fish oil standard to it, and we're very proud of this particular product. We do put a little bit of sunflower oil in it, and people always ask how much. Well, it varies. And here's the reason why it varies is that we guarantee that these milligram amounts are in every single soft gel. And sometimes the oils that we get will be richer in certain numbers than other times. And sometimes we might have a soft gel that will be 10 milligrams shy from being full, and we don't want that gap in there. And so we will take the sunflower oil, which is a vegetable oil, and we will cap it off so that each soft gel is full and there isn't a gap in there that would normally have air in it, which would what? Oxidize the product. And so if you wonder, so sometimes this might be 10, 15 milligrams. Sometimes it won't be any. Sometimes it'll be 1 milligram. So I can't honestly ever tell you from lot to lot how much is in there, but we put it there to make it safe. The other thing I'm going to point up here high is that the fish oils are anchovy and sardines on this one, and mackerel. They're all short life fish. They're not like your tunas. Tunas have a tendency to have quite a bit of lead in them, as well as other chemicals, and becoming more and more concerned, tuna is starting to have more plastics in them because they're a fish that lives a long time. And so when a lifespan of a sardine or an anchovy is just a year, then we have less problems with those situations, and it's easier for us to test those oils. So we'll go from there. So there's the brief breakdown of omega of the EFA Plus. It comes in a 90 count. Traditionally, Doc will want everybody to take at least 3.5 grams of fish oil, and therefore we make this a 1,200 milligram fill. And if everyone knows 1,200 milligrams is 1.2 grams, so if you take 3, you're at 3.6, and you hit his ideal mark. Now, some circumstances you'll take more, and we'll talk about that in just a little bit, but it'll give you an idea what we do in this area. So now I'm going to switch, and I'm going to go to this one. So this is Ultimate EFA. Ultimate EFA is packaged in 2 different forms. It's packaged in a 60 count, and it's packaged in a 180 count. Omega, this particular one has very little borage oil in it. Excuse me, and primarily is flaxseed oil. So it's heavy in omega-3 because of the flaxseed oil and the fish oil. So it's ideal for the person that eats a lot of, I won't say this loud, processed foods because they're not my favorite, and or corn, and have a lot of omega-6 in them now, and they don't need a soft gel EFA product that's that balances out omega-6. So, oh, and the other thing I mentioned, in a perfect diet, you have twice as much 3 as you do 6. So if you take 3 grams of 3, then you should be taking 1 gram or twice as much, 1.5 grams of 6. So that kind of starts to give you that ratio. So this particular product is heavier in the omega-3s, not as much in the omega-6, and not as hardly any of the omega-9. It's only 137 milligrams, which isn't a big dose. So it's a good blend. There again, we use organic flaxseed oil. We use, when we have the borage oil in the products, we use that as well. The EFA Plus is in a gold soft gel and doesn't have any coloring in the soft gel material. But the regular EFA, Ultimate EFA has a little coloring in the soft gel, so it's a dark brown. It's a lot of people originally thought we did that to prevent sun rays to get into that. That's not really the case. It does do that because it's in the bottle, and the amount of time that it's not in the bottle before you consume it is so limited. We're not so much concerned on that one. So we're gonna, AJ, I see your questions and we'll get to you after a little bit. Then we have the Prohoba Omega. The reason why I put this one up here is a couple reasons. A, it's a price point. It's the standards of the oil aren't quite as high on this one because we're trying to make something that everyone can afford, and it's 100% fish oil. And so a lot of the people that are on a tight budget, I always direct them towards this because traditionally, if they're in a tight budget, they're eating processed foods and corns anyway, so they're getting their 6. And so I need to get them heavy into an omega-3 product that will help them balance out and save them some pennies. And therefore, we have this. And we've had it around for a long time. It seems to be a big seller on the people on my house. You know, they'll take Beyond Tangy Tangerine and this, and technically they're getting their 90, and I'm happy with that. A lot of packs that we have will be liquid Tangy Tangerine and this product, or ultra body toddy and this product. And those are also great ways to get a base pack that isn't a high price point. It is a dark shell. It is a 1 gram shell, so it's a little bit smaller. And then the other thing too is I'll always say it's anchovies. So there again, we still are concerned. We still test for the pesticides, herbicides, and heavy metals, but we don't pay for the certification on this particular product just to save that price point. So hopefully we'll teach you something new there. Then we always get the individuals that would like to see a product that has no animal products in there at all. And so then we came out with the multi-EFA, which is heavy in 6, but it's all primrose. So it helps the people that are sensitive about that. I'll always encourage them maybe to look to add a flaxseed oil product in there. We don't have one, probably one that we should come out with, but everyone thinks we're crazy anyways for having 5 different essential fatty acids products, and maybe a 6th isn't there. Maybe someday down the road, I'll convince Steve to go 60% flaxseed, 30% primrose, and change this, but people seem to like it. The other thing is that this is a 500 milligram fill, so it's half the size of most of our soft gels. So most of our soft gels are probably the size of my last digit of my baby finger. If you take that in half, it's probably about the size of the fingernail of my baby finger. I'll give you an idea. I always, when people talk to me about it's really hard for them to swallow the big EFA products that we carry, I tell them, well, I'm going to tell you something you would never tell your children. Put it in your mouth and play with it in your mouth. Move it around with your tongue. Let your saliva play with it, because the saliva will start to decompose the soft gel and will make it extremely slick. And then when you swallow, try to swallow it from point to point and not sideways. And if you do that, odds on favor, you won't have a problem with it. If you do, have a piece of bread on your desk or something like that when you take your EFAs, and chase it with a small piece of bread, and that will help you get the EFA down. But this particular one is a smaller one, so if you're concerned about that, you can. Can you take our large ones, poke a hole in it and squeeze it out? Yes, you can. And so if that's a plan B that you want to take advantage of, you can do that. And then we're going to move to, whoops, let's see now. Here, I'll do that. Got there. Well, Smart FX. Smart FX is actually the purest oil we have. It's a all fish oil, and we got it for a couple different reasons. We wanted to use this high grade purified. This is the highest level that the fish people have seen. It comes out of Scandinavia. In fact, it comes out of Sweden, and I'm excited because I'm going to go to Sweden in the fall, and I plan to go to where we get the powder for the Prohoba products, and they get this fish oil, and the lab is there, and we get this. It's an anchovy and sardine blend and a bovine gelatin. We use vegetable glyceride to be any filler that we need. No GMO. Has a little bit of the sunflower, and we put a little rosemary in there. So if you take a lot of these and you burp, you'll burp rosemary and not fish oil. So there's the reason why we do that. The other choice that some other companies do is lemon. We could do the same thing and whatnot. And I know that people that poke the hole in the oil and pour it in their drink, I sometimes recommend get essential oils, lemon, and put a dash of lemon oil in the drink as well. I do that in my sun tea all the time, and we grow fresh mint here, so I always put a sprig of fresh mint. It is high in omega-3, and then there again, it's even a smaller soft gel. So one of the health benefits of EFA products, there's several of them. We're going to hit this one first, and then we'll talk about all of them in general, is that they're very good to help with challenges of short-term memory and dementia. It helps lubricate the blood so it's a little bit thinner and can help break through that brain bloodstream barrier. And so in that case, we can say that it helps in those areas. And because of that, it's great for kids. It's absolutely super for kids. You know, they go to school, except for right now, at least my grandkids just left for summer camp yesterday. But during school, they take the smaller EFAs to help them retain. Also, it's great for senior citizens to take them. They also sometimes have a challenge with the larger soft gels. So this is an alternative product to look in that direction. So right now I'm going to cut out of this screen so you can see my smiling face again. So essential fatty acids is one of the products that we went in front of the FDA to get health claims on. And we've gotten a health claim on it that it will help prevent cardiovascular disease and brain diseases. And so what it does is a couple different functions. We'll go through this. It helps prevent your blood cells from being as sticky. And so when they don't stick to your arteries and whatnot, they run smooth. So when you start increasing your EFAs, you can notice a couple things. You get better blood circulation. A fun test on that one is if you take your fingernail and you press down on it, turn really white, and then you let go on it, it turns really pink. Well, basically what you're, unless you have colored fingernails. And so if you do that and let go and it turns pink right away, you know you have good blood flow because the blood's getting into that area quickly, right? If you push that and it turns white and then you release it and it stays white, you know that you might have a challenge. And so it will help with blood pressure and it helps with blood flow. Now, the one disadvantage of it with helping with blood flow is if some reason you listen to your doctor and he convinced you to get on blood thinners, if you have lots of EFAs in your system, or if you start taking a blood thinner and you start taking tons of EFAs, you can actually get your blood to be too thin. And so I always recommend people, if they're on blood thinners, they can increase their dose, but go get their blood tested to make sure it doesn't get too thin. This call's always being recorded, so I have to be careful. Don't go against your doctor's wishes, but have a discussion with your doctor saying that you would rather take more essential fatty acids and less blood thinner because there's no adverse side effects to an EFA. And so work with your doctor on that. Hopefully he's up on his education in that area. It's improving every year, it seems like. My son-in-law is a doctor, and we have discussions about it all the time. He's a family practice physician, and he is actually taking naturopathic physician courses so that he understands nutrition and how it affects the body more. And so I give him kudos, but I see that more and more family practice physicians are doing that as well. I also know that RNs had to take classes in nutrition to become an RN. So talking to the RN first sometimes can help you get your foot in the stream. And so those things are really good. Now, the reason why I mentioned this is that when we have the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, there's 2 bottles of essential fatty acids in there. There's a 90 count and there's a 180 count. One's EFA Plus and one's the Ultimate EFA. Dr. Wallach, when he put together this protocol, it was designed to help the heart in fast pace. And so when he talks on Facebook or on this show, if he's on this show or various other locations, you can listen to him live. He actually will recommend that people will take 9 of these EFAs, but he wants more of it to be 3 than 6. So he puts it the 180 counts, you get more 3 out of that, and then the balance, he gets that. So it'd be 3 of the 90 count and 6 of the 180 count, giving him the dose that he wants for those people having challenges with cardiovascular or their brain. It also helps your kidney. It also helps your liver flush out toxins. So it does lots of good in that pack. And that pack got the name of Healthy Brain and Heart Pack just to keep it simpler, but it really should be healthy brain, heart, kidney, liver, pancreas, so on and so forth, all the soft tissues in your body. But there's only so much room on the label, so we'll just keep it with brain and heart pack. And so those are the benefits of that. And so let's see here. Let me make sure I got through my notes. So AJ talked about olive oil with me before the show started, and that a lot of people believe on taking an ounce of olive oil. And so let's talk a little bit about my beliefs of olive oil. And these are my beliefs. I don't ever drink olive oil from Italy, Spain, or France. And I can just hear the gasp of everyone in the back there. And this is the reason why. In Italy, they have trouble with the mafia controlling a lot of that stuff. And what they call pure olive oil, 60 Minutes about 2 years ago did a study and found that 90% of the olive oil in Italy isn't all olive oil, that it's cut with different oils. The other thing is if you think about it, when it comes to the United States, it's typically put in those large containers and put on a ship, and it's on the ocean for 6 to 8 weeks. Well, the nice advantage of those containers is I guarantee if you get locked in one, you'll never get cold, because they're like small ovens, and that oil gets hot no matter how dense packed it's put. I guarantee it gets hot. When it gets hot, it starts breaking down, and all that great olive oil starts to break down. So for those that really love olive oil, in the United States, there is some great California olive oils. They harvest late in the year and they crush in the early fall. I can tell you that I love olive oil for salad dressings, and I will buy my supply in the fall, right after it's crushed. In fact, the vendor that I buy it from literally knows that I'm going to want it, and they contact me and say, we just followed it. I have them send me up what I use in the year, and I put it in my cold pantry all year. And I only open the bottle when I start using it. And that's what I use. Now, if you want to go through all those steps and have your 1 ounce of olive oil, good for you. There's some studies that were done out there that if of olive oils of certain purities that the Greeks are famous for really improve the cardiovascular and really improve the immune system in your system. And I'm convinced if they tested those particular olive oils, they do. But the doctor that's really promoting it has a deal with I think it's a Cyprus olive oil, and he's put his name on it. And so it's really popular. And 9 times out of 10, the people drinking large amounts of olive oil have heard his lecture, and they're going off of that spin. Do I support that? If you go through all the steps, that's fine. But if you don't, then you bloody well better make sure that at least it's all olive oil and that it somehow has never gotten hot. Good luck doing that unless you get a California olive oil. So let's see now. I'm going to kind of bring Rebecca back up here because she had a list of about 6 questions right off the bat that she wanted me to cover. And I don't know if I covered all of them. So Becca, I'll give you first shot to ask the questions.
Well, Richard, you did such a great job. You covered why there's 2 different EFAs in the brain and heart pack. You covered about eating or drinking the fish oils from a bottle because of the oxidation, folks. Why there's so many different EFAs in the longevity lineup, and then also about the olive oil. So I think you covered most of my specific questions that I had. We do have a couple questions. Miriam wants to know how many essential fatty acids you need to get off blood thinners. And with asking this question, folks, remember this program is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, nor is it meant to diagnose, treat, or cure any disease. Now, Richard, as somebody that's experienced in working with people in so many different levels, when this question would be presented to you, how much essential fatty acids are needed to get off of a blood thinner, what would be your response?
So I would say I had a very, very close friend that I went to New Zealand with, and he did everything wrong prior to the flight. He was under some stress doing what was done with work. He had worked probably 16 hours before the air flight, and he didn't get up and move around once we were on the plane, and he got deep vein thrombosis. And so if you don't know what deep vein thrombosis is, it's small little blood clots that form in your legs. And then what happens is that they release and go to your lungs. The good and the bad thing is that it's very, very painful in the lungs. However, if it gets into your bloodstream, it then can go into your brain, and that's a form of stroke. And so it's a dangerous scenario. When we realized what was going on, I had gotten off the plane. My friend's wife came out and says, he's in trouble, he's in trouble. It's one of those few moments where I lied and said I was a doctor and pushed my way back on the plane and went to him. And the flight attendant was trying to shove orange juice down him because she thought it was a blood sugar issue. I told her, no, it's not a blood sugar issue. He has deep vein thrombosis. Call an ambulance. Well, they got him to the hospital, and he had over 120 blood clots in his lung. They told his wife, you might want to consider preparing for the worst, and which really made her day. And then they put him on blood thinners to try to thin the blood so that they could get those clots out of there. So the regimen that he went on after that was that he was always taking 3 EFA pluses. So I think everyone can take 3 EFA pluses. And then 48 hours prior to a blood test where they measure how thin their blood is, he would increase it by 1 ultimate EFA. And then he would go to the doctor's office. They would test his blood, and they said, your blood's fine. It's getting a little bit thinner, but we'll keep an eye on it. And he would nod his head and then go home. And then he would get a blood test. Now, he was going in fast track because he wanted to come home. They told him that he would be in New Zealand for over 3 months. He goes, I don't think so. I'll be home in 2 weeks. And they all kind of laughed at him. And so he was getting his blood tested literally every other day. So 24 hours before the next one, he increased his EFAs. They turn around and go, we don't understand really what's going on, but your blood's getting a little thin. We're going to cut back on your blood thinners. And he goes, fine, I think that's a great idea. Why don't you do that? And then he kept doing that process until they were going, we don't understand. You don't really need to be on the blood thinners anymore. We can take you off. And then he turned around and told them, I've been increasing my essential fatty acids. So he did his thing. Now, he did have Dr. Wallach talking to him in his ear, as well as Dr. Edmund Dubois and Dr. Schrouser. So that being said, and the doctors were all talking. And so I guess it wasn't a big secret, but what I tell people that if you're on 3 EFAs, because everyone needs to be on 3 EFAs, let's get that out of the way. If you're on 3 EFAs and your blood's still a little thick, but they put you on blood thinners, or if they, on my case, my blood is already thin, but I can tell you I take more than 3 anyways. It's a good way periodically to get your blood tested for coagulation to see if it's a little thin, because if you have too thin of blood and you have an unfortunate situation like a bad fall or a automobile accident and you get some major bruising, you can have internal bleeding, and we don't want that. So periodically getting your blood test to see if it's too thin or too thick is a good thing to do, and you can regiment your EFAs. And that's more or less how I phrase it.
Perfect. And I love the fact that, you work with your primary care physician, especially if you're under the care of a doctor. Like pharmacist Ben says, you have a de facto contract with them. You've gone to them, you've asked them for their help. You need to work with them whenever you start adding in the nutrition. So thank you so much for sharing that. I hope that answered your question, Miriam, and also answered the question of Corey, who asked about the EFA Plus and 1-3 times a day, if that was what everybody needed. And yes. So let's go over to AJ. AJ, go ahead and ask your question.
So you went back on the airplane and said, my name is Dr. Dirt, and they let you back on? Is that...
Well, no, I just said I'm a doctor and there's a medical emergency. Get out of my way. I wasn't very nice. Sometimes you have to be, and my partner's not here because I'd be in serious trouble if I said that. I pulled a Karen.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do for your friends, man. So
you gotta do what you gotta do with your friends. But some music stories on that is that they took him from the plane straight on the ambulance and took him to the hospital. And so I went through customs. And his wife went with him. They allowed those two, and they bypassed customs totally. But customs knew what was going on. So I picked up his luggage and hers as well as ours, and we go through luggage. And what's the first question they always ask you? Did you pack this bag? And I turned around and had to say no, because I wasn't gonna lie. And they all their eyebrows started to go up and all that. I go, these 3 were the individuals that got carted off to the hospital. I'm their close friend. Here's their names. And then they checked their manifest and they said, fine, just go. You don't even have to check your bags. And then met the people who are supposed to meet us. And, they were kind of looking for my friend too, and he wasn't there. So they took us to the hospital, and I spent the next 4 or 5 hours with his wife and him until he became a little more stable. And then we went on and did some other things. But it was an interesting trip for my first trip to New Zealand.
I can only imagine. Well, my quick question is there any validity to the assertion that our EFAs are packed in a nitrogen-rich room, and then is that a standard elsewhere?
Now, not 30 years ago when I was lecturing about this in the first place, now it's becoming much more above average. Everyone that you see that has IFOS certifications, they all do them. All of them do them. So what you do when you're packing the oils in a nitrogen atmosphere is that you're pushing out all the oxygen in the oil, so there's not even a microgram in there of oxygen. And in doing so, it increases the shelf life and your oil from oxidizing within that soft gel. So you are correct on the nitrogen. I probably should have mentioned it, but I would say probably, since I can't give myself credit, but in the last 30 years when I've been lecturing about this stuff, I would say 1 in 20 companies did it. Now I would say if they're putting them in soft gels, it's better than half.
Fantastic to know. Thank you for being with us and doing on everything you do. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you so much. Great questions. Let's go over to Verna. Verna, go ahead and unmute yourself. What question do you have for Dr. Dirt, Richard Renton, today?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Verna.
Hi, I was just wondering on in, some of the presentations and workshops I've been in through longevity, I've heard that we should be taking up to at least 9 essential fatty acids. Can I get a little clarification on that? I don't take 9, but.
So it's all a scenario on what you want done in your body. So if you're an individual that's having heart issues, they're having brain issues, they're having kidney issues, then you can get up. And I've actually heard docs say 12 to 15, depending on their body mass. And so that can increase the number. If you're starting out, I don't start out that high. First of all, if you go from no essential fatty acids primarily in your diet to 12 or something like that, you'll probably have quite a softening of your stool. And the fastest way to get a person not to take the product is to give them a diarrhea. And so I always try to ease people into it. The other key thing on almost every single person I start them out on the healthy digestive pack, or maybe the healthy digestive pack with I-26, because if we're giving you all this great nutrition and you're investing your hard-earned money on it, I want your gut healthy so that you get bang for the buck. And so 95% of the people, I always start them on healthy digestive pack, and I focus on their gut a little bit more. And then after the first month or two, then I'll start shifting them if they're telling me they have health challenges with their heart, their kidney, or their brain. And then I can start increasing the number. So it's really more the challenge. So remember, in our 4 basic healthy start packs, we have a heart pack for hard tissue, which is the healthy bone and joint. We have a healthy pack for blood sugar issues or weight loss or any of that. That's a healthy blood sugar pack. We have a healthy brain and heart, and then we have the healthy start pack. We have other ones like sports and other ones. But if you just kind of look at what the need is for the individual and try to match them up with that pack, 90% of your job is done. And then you might have an exception. And if you're not sure, so if educational purchases, and I was teaching the class that Becca does, my first 4 or 5 classes would all be on those packs and what they're doing. And then I would pull out the sunflower with all the leaves. And then these are the not exceptions, but the add-ons that you might be interested in, and start talking about those types of scenarios. And so the newcomer that's doing the business, they're overwhelmed with the number of products we have. So tell them, I want you to learn the packs and learn 2 products, and then get a partner and have them learn the packs and 2 different products, and develop a team so that you can help each other, and then get your upline to give you support. People like everyone on this call that is a team leader that we'll introduce at the end, or myself. If they have a question, you can send us an email and we'll be happy to answer your questions for you. We want to answer your questions for you, because a customer that stays on the product for 3 months and sees the results will most likely be at least a 1-year customer for you. And as far as doing this as a business, that's what we're looking for.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Unmute yourself.
All right. Thank you so much, Verna, for a great question. We've got another question that says, are there benefits for the skin with essential fatty acids? And if so, what are they?
So anything that has connective tissues, it's beneficial for. It helps the bonding of the particular skin levels. It also promotes growth. And so you won't cut as easily, and you'll grow your layers of skin faster. And so those are the main prisons. And same thing with your connective tissues, and same thing with your bones and your teeth.
Perfect. Awesome. 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 Let's go back over to AJ. He's bringing in another question. AJ.
Well, no, just real quick. I had liked the price point of the basic Mighty 90 for a lot of folks. It only comes with 2 of the ultimate EFAs. And I'm just curious because you kind of intimated that we are going to get, we're eating corn, we're eating our standard SAD diet, that we're going to get a lot of 6s. And then, so I'm guessing the ultimate EFA, the 2 ultimate EFA being heavier in the omega-3 is kind of the thought. Is that why we're getting 2, or just the price point?
Just the price point. I would rather have them take the liquid with the Prohoba Omega just to get some volume in there. And I think there's Mighty 90. One of the packs is that way. I'm not sure which one. And so, but with a 1995, which is what I think, I hate sticking my foot in my mouth. So
it is about $20. Yeah.
and then one of the complex products that to me is a preferred program rather than just 2 of the ultimate EFAs.
Okay, and then Yvonne is asking, please provide the oil company here in California.
Oh, Becca, can you talk for 2 minutes?
I can talk for 2 minutes. Absolutely. I'm really good at talking. Folks, I hope that you're gaining information in today's program, something that you can use to help yourself, your family, your community. And as he mentioned, there is a business with this. So anytime that you go to a movie theater, you see a great movie, what do? You tell people. So when you're trying a new, cookie that's on the market or a new restaurant, you're telling people, well, are you getting a thank you check from them? That's one advantage of what we have here with the company that we have partnered with, and that is Longevity, that because we are receiving great results, we want to tell people. And as we tell people, as independent distributors, we are able to receive a thank you check. So if you're wanting to improve your health and help improve the health of others by telling them, why not get a thank you check? We invite you to get back with a person that shared this program with you and thank them for sharing the program with you. And then ask them your questions, especially 1, what can I do to create a better health journey? 2, what can I do to help people find the same thing that we're talking about today and get a thank you check? So again, get back with a person that shared this program with you. If there's no one to thank, we do have an amazing team of certified holistic health coaches on my call team. They can be reached at 855-949-3377. Again, that's 855-949-3377. But if you've ever spoken with anybody about Longevity, Dr. Wallach, or any of the products, they are your person to get back with. Richard, was that long enough? There you go.
Wait a minute.
All
Camera,
right,
you
there
always
it
switch
is.
things the wrong way.
All right,
There we go.
fantastic.
We got it
So,
in the middle.
now, Richard, we were just talking about thank you checks. Is Kat's going to send you a thank you check?
No,
See?
there
And
is
that,
another one too, periodically I get.
you know, I just got that one. So, Ivan, if you're looking, you need to double check on that bottle. So,
Okay.
I love to buy local. And, you know, you had mentioned, you know, the whole process and how long it is on a big boat in those hot containers. And it does, it breaks down the benefits of the product that you think that you're putting into your body that's good for you. So
I'm sorry. I'm really going to mention, you know how Doc has always said, no oils, no oils, no oils. Okay. So let's kind of understand this. That process that I said that you had to do is multiple steps. And I can tell you, this is not Costco price. And so it's almost easier for him to say no oil rather than go through all the steps to explain this. And, you know, I've done lectures where he's sitting there and I'll make a comment that I'll go through, and all of a sudden this piece of paper will hit me in the head. And, you know, so I'll take some moments and I'll just say that. I go through extraordinary steps to guarantee that that oil is 100% olive oil and never got it hot. I actually look at the weather between where it's shipped from and my house to make sure that it's going to stay cool during that period of time. If it gets hot, I'll have them hold the shipment, because they keep it in cool areas, not totally refrigerated, but cool areas. And so I'm not worried that it's there, but I want to be able to control when it goes up. So there's lots of steps. Like if I was in New York this week, I probably wouldn't have sent oils there. Because think about it, that mail truck, it's hot. The UPS truck, it's hot. And so I go through all that steps. So Doc's just simplifying things.
yeah.
Or I'll take the,
you know, if you live next to an olive grove and you're pressing it and eating within 3 days. Well, I don't know anybody that, unless they are the owner or live right next to an olive grove, can do that. And then to take all of it in 3 days, that would be small doses or very large doses, small containers or very large doses. So thank you so much again for that clarity, because I know there's going to be questions on it. Doc says, and that's absolutely it. So thank you, Richard. If I could get our co-hosts up on the screen with us, you know, great information, Richard, that you shared with us today about the essential fatty acids, also known as EFAs. There are approximately 5 different EFA products in the longevity product lineup. And it's to meet the different needs, the different ratios. And there's one more question, Richard. Keely wants to know, what about the oxidation after opening it?
of
Referring
this,
to olive oil.
oh, I put it in the refrigerator and I keep it really cold. And this will last me not even a month in salad dressings.
Okay, so and then when you take the lid off, you pour it out, you put it right back on, and then put it right back in the refrigerator, right?
Yeah, and it's a cork style lid, so it fits, you know, fits on there really well.
Awesome. All right, thank you so very much. That is another great question. And today, folks, and the people that you see on the screen with me, they help make this program possible so that it's not a lot of stress on just 1 or 2 people. I absolutely appreciate each and every one where they're bringing their talents, they're dedicating and donating their time to help you as an individual gain more information in an environment that is comfortable for you to learn in. So today we have on with us Phyllis, who is one of my first mentors within longevity. She and her husband, Andy, are also two of the pioneers of longevity and were very instrumental in getting Dr. Wallach on the radio with that Dead Doctors Don't Lie show, which is how I found out about longevity, syndicated across the United States. So thank you so much, Phyllis, as she's also putting information into the chat and bringing in questions off the different platforms. We also have Marilyn, which, folks, if you're here live with us in the Zoom, which, yes, we are a live program, zoom.dailywithdoc.com, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 12 to 1 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to let you figure out the rest of the times. Marilyn is putting in dictation of what is being spoken, putting it into the chat so that you can easily take notes. Thank you so much, Marilyn, for doing that for us. We have Albert joining us from South Africa as he's letting people into the Zoom room as they are coming into the waiting room. And if you do call our call team and it is in the middle of the night in the United States, chances are you're going to hear that amazing South African accent as he is helping us with 24-hour help around the clock on our call line of certified holistic health coaches to help you. But again, if you're working with somebody, they are your first point of contact. Get back with them. They are the person to help you find answers. Next, we have Ruth Ellen, who is my executive production manager. She keeps us all in line. We're like cats sometimes. Maybe it's chickens. But as we're putting things together in the beginning of the show, she makes sure that we're volume and everything, the lighting, everything like that is working. But not only that, she is taking the Zoom video, putting it together with the graphics that you see out on the different platforms and pushing the stream out to the next person on our tech crew who has helping to make sure that we are continuing to stream on those different platforms. And that is Sherry, who brings her decades of experience in helping people naturally through nutrition and things that you can do and add to your lifestyle, including the longevity nutrition, which she found to be a missing piece of her coaching program that she had had for many years. So thank you, Sherry, for being part of us as well. And we have AJ bringing in all of his technical skills as an athlete and a coach. He just really has a passion to help families keep their children functioning to their optimal best. So thank you so much, AJ, as he's also the individual that is responsible for pushing me into going on to all these different platforms so that we can meet you where you're at, because I didn't know about all of them. Well, folks, my name is Becca Dukes, and as the Director of Student Services for the Institute of Holistic Health, it would do you an injustice to not let you know that you also can become a certified holistic health coach. You can go to coach.dailywithdoc.com, get more information about our certified holistic health coach course and how you also can help yourself, your family, and your community. It's affordable. So even if you're wanting it just for your own knowledge, it's well worth it. Dr. Dirt, Richard, it's 1 minute after. We need to get you out of here. Thank you again for being part of our family of amazing experts coming on Daily with Doc to share information around the world about how you as an individual can be empowered to create a better health journey. Thank you, Dr. Dirt. And folks, thank you for taking this time and investing in yourself. As time is money, folks, you're investing in yourself so that you also can make wiser decisions. So join us, be part of the longevity family, get back with the person that shared this program with you, or give us a call, 855-949-3377. If you have questions or would like more information, you can also email us questions@dailywithdoc.com. Until next time. Oh, tomorrow we're going to be doing an amazing testimonial and how this individual is using their their experience with what we do to help people and build a successful business online. So if you're interested in that, you definitely want to tune in to our program tomorrow. And we have Pharmacist Fridays with pharmacist Ben Fuchs coming up for you. Until next time, bye for now. Welcome to Daily with Doc and Becca. This program is for educational purposes only. The statements in this program have not been evaluated by the FDA. The content is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases, nor is it intended to take the place of your primary care physician. Testimonials are shared as individual experiences of the individual sharing their testimony. Results vary and may not be typical. We do not make any claims regarding health or income. As an empowered individual, you do have options available. We are honored to have a founding father of the science of epigenetics guiding us with the best options to obtain or maintain optimal health, Dr. Joel Wallach.